Hey, everybody, welcome to day 24 of 30 Days of How to Be Successful. I am your host, Jody, Almond, and I am excited to be here with you this session. I've been excited to be with you every session, but this session is power packed. It has so much information. I hope you have yourself ready to take notes because this session is going to be full of valuable information. I call that gold. It's going to be full of gold. And so I hope you're ready to get it. If you're not, maybe you can go back and watch the replay, or if this is the replay, hey, pause it real quick, grab you a notepad and a pen, or get your phone or your tablet, whatever you take notes on, and begin getting ready because I'm going to give you some great and valuable, as I've already said, information in this session. Just so much value that I'm going to give you tonight. Again, this is 30 Days of How to Be Successful with me, Jody Almond, and I am looking very much forward to diving in. And so without a lot of discussion tonight and getting started, I'm going to go ahead and get us rolling because we've been discussing time management. We've been talking about how to manage our time better. We've talked about planning and prioritizing already, and we've talked about how multitasking is truly a myth, and we need to stay away from that and really just focus on one thing and monotask. But also, I want to talk to you about how that we can use tonight. Time can be best utilized when we strategize. And what I mean is you can do this simply by creating a list of all your tasks that you have, and we've already done that with our planning. But take that list of tasks and you want to do three things with them because this is what you want to look at on your list of tasks and see is this a plausibility and a possibility. You want to see if there's ways you can relinquish your task. And what I mean by that is that there's three ways that you can do this. Number one, you can do this by finding tasks you can simply eliminate. Number two, finding tasks you can automate. And number three, finding tasks you can delegate. When you do that, when you find ways to eliminate, automate, and delegate your task, what you've just accomplished is you've just allowed yourself to free up time so that you now can do more time on what matters to you, what matters to your life, and what matters to your purpose, and what helps you to get farther along in your growth and success. And so let's jump in and talk about this first one, eliminate. When we talk about eliminate, here's the questions you want to ask, right? So one of the questions that we can ask to determine whether an item on our list can be eliminated is, number one, what item or items on my list do not absolutely need to be done? What items on my list can I look at and say do not need to be done at all? Now, when we think about eliminating a task, simply put, it means if you stop doing that task, would anyone notice or even care? If you look at your list and you say, I've got tasks on here that I'm not sure anyone would notice or care about, they need to be eliminated. But here are 5 questions you can ask that will help you in determining that. Number one, what items on my list do not absolutely need to be done? They're just things to fill up my schedule. They're things that do not have or need to be done. Mark it off and put it in the eliminate folder or file, right? Number two, which items do I do or do you do because you think you should and not, sorry for the misspelling there, and not because it serves any particular purpose? Which items am I doing because I think I should do it even though it doesn't serve a particular purpose? Number three, what do you do for others out of obligation or guilt? This goes back to another session we had about the powerful word no. We could also throw that in there. What are you doing because you're afraid to say no to somebody? Maybe this one. Maybe you could throw in there, what do you do because you're afraid you'll disappoint somebody? What are the things you're doing out of guilt or obligation to other people that does not fall in line with anything of your success that you're trying to achieve, anything with your purpose. It's simply to appease someone else, right? Number 4, what items do you do simply because you've always done them, even though you may not need to anymore? So what items do you simply do because you've always done them, even though you may not need to do that any longer? Let's be honest. We all get in routines. We all get in habits. We all get in the ruts. What are you doing just because you've always done it that you really don't need to do anymore? And number five, what do you do mindlessly without intention? Now, these are not in no particular order, and an example of that is social media. These aren't in any particular order. They are all as important as the other, but those are just 5 questions you can ask yourself when you're looking at eliminating things out of your life, right? So let's move on to number 2. Number 2, what is the second way that we can relinquish tasks from our list? Number 2 is automate. Automate. Now, when we talk about automation, it's the use of technology to do a portion or all of the work possible for you. So anything we can allow technology to handle for us is fantastic. All right. One of the ways I do this sometimes and many times is there's an app that I found that's called Buffer. And what Buffer does is I can preload content that'll be shared across social media. I can go in there and load up a week's worth of content that is going to be shared, or the whole next day's worth of content, whatever, that's going to be shared. And I can have it set for set times. It can be already put together and ready to go. And at that time, basically what Buffer does is it holds it, and it's automated that at 3 o'clock today, bam, it hits Facebook. Wow, it hits Instagram. Over here, it's smashing Twitter. The thing is that it helps me. I can do it in one quick time, and it helps me to get it out throughout the day when I have other things to do. There's a lot of ways we automate our life, and I've shared a couple of those in this diagram with you. When you think about automation, so many people today use Amazon Prime. The reason they use Amazon Prime is because they can get shipments in 2 days or less without any shipping costs. And so they use Amazon Prime for a lot of their shipping needs to be met, that they need to get supplies, or they need to do this, or they need to do that. That's the way a lot of people, I use some very popular ones, that's the way a lot of people are automating. Number 2, another way people automate is by mobile banking. I think most people in 2020 use mobile banking. And the reason they do is because they want to just allow themselves the ability to get into their bank account, view it, look at it, move money around, pay bills, do whatever. You can even deposit your checks now on many banking systems, straight from your phone by taking a picture and sending it. There's so many things you can do with mobile banking now that it automates so much of our life. We do direct deposit. We don't have to go to the bank. It saves so much time, right? Thirdly, food orders. Now, especially with this time that we're in of COVID-19 and coronavirus, so many people are using things like they'll call ahead or order ahead for Walmart. They will do those kinds of things, and they will be ready to move forward. That way, all they got to do is pull up, and they'll come load their groceries. Or they'll use this, for example, like Uber Eats or Postmates or all these other food sources that'll bring and deliver your food from restaurants to you. And so there's a lot of people using food sources. So that's just 3 simple ways that a lot of people are automating, because when you think about it, when it comes to time management and getting more time, here's the catch. If I can order something on an app and they'll bring it to me, that saves me a lot of time. And we can't dine out right now anyway, right? If I can get my groceries shopped for, and I can be working for that 30 or 45 minutes that I would spend shopping, and all I got to do is drive up and they'll load my car, wow, now that saved me at 30 to 45 minutes at a minimum. in that week, right? And so here's the thing, guys, is that you can do this in great ways. And again, Amazon Prime is a way you can get goods sent to you, and you may not have to go shop. You can use Amazon Prime, right? It saves you the postage, it saves you the gas. You're actually saving money and saving time. So those are a few ways that a lot of people around the world automate and enable. Now, there's many more. If you're looking for something to automate, just look in your app store and see in the criteria of what you're searching for and see what's offered, and find ways to automate as much of your task as possible. Now, let's jump into the last criteria we want to get into, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time here. It's delegate. Now, when we want to get into this, the question we're asking is, can I delegate the task? So I'm looking at my, if you will, my master list, okay? My list of priorities, my list of things I need to get accomplished that are on my success growth chart, right? And so as I'm looking at that list and I've prioritized it, I've planned it, I've color-coded it, I went through the process, I know what I have to do this week, and I'm looking ahead and I say, okay, so what can I eliminate? What can I automate? And what can I delegate? Now, when I get into delegate, it means having someone else do it, or better yet, sometimes even trade task with somebody for something you're more passionate about, and with giving them something they're more passionate about, right? And so here's what you're thinking about when you talk about it. I've got your delegating checklist. So this is some things you always want to check into before you delegate any task, okay? Trust me. After 20 years of pastoring, you want to make sure before you delegate the task. I have delegated tasks that I wish I would have held to myself, because when I delegated them, I did not follow these steps early on, and I made many mistakes that caused not only me a lot of trouble, but caused trouble between me and the person, because they were upset that I even asked them to do it, didn't want to tell me no, because they felt like they owed it to me. It was an obligation, but they carried it through, but did not carry it through well. And so what happened is I ended up having to go back and do it myself. So when you're delegating, these are some things I promise you want to ask yourself. You ready? So number one, you want to identify. What do I mean by identify? Identify a person who can help you accomplish the task. Now, let me say this. When we're identifying a person, it doesn't just mean if they have a warm body. Okay? It doesn't mean if they have blood flowing through their veins and they're alive. You want to identify a person who is equipped in the area that you're looking for the task to be handled. So here's an example. If I'm just being dad around the house and I'm doing this and I'm saying, okay, we're gonna do some things around the house today. So here's what I have. Here's my list. I'm going to mow the yard, trim the hedges. I'm going to spray weed killer. We're going to clean the interior of the house, which includes picking up, dusting, vacuuming, washing clothes, whatever. It's just a full day of chores, right? Or a full week of chores. Now, here's what I have. Let's say that I have children ranging in age. Let's say I have a 4-year-old. I have an 8-year-old. I have a 12-year-old. Yeah, every 4 years I'm having kids, it sounds like, right? A 16-year-old and a 20-year-old. I got 5 kids. I do not in literal life. I would not be sitting here with the amount of hair I have. But if I had 5 kids, all right, and I had those 5 kids, and I was going to delegate these tasks, okay? And it's me and my wife, and we're delegating the task. Here's what I know for a fact. I can't expect my 4-year-old to go mow the yard, spray weed killer, trim the hedges. So I have to look and identify, if I'm going to delegate some of the tasks in our home and in the chores, I have to identify what can my 4-year-old do. My 4-year-old can pick up. My 4-year-old can help dust. My 4-year-old can do this. My 4-year-old can make its bed, okay? So these are things my 4-year-old can do. And so I have to identify. It's no different in any realm of life. If you're a leader in the church, identify as you delegate. If you're a housewife and a mom, or you're a dad or whatever, and you're looking to help do things better, delegate. If you're a business person and an entrepreneur and you have people working with you or you need help, delegate. But make sure you identify the people or the person that can help accomplish the task. In other words, they're skilled and they're able. Number 2, you want to instruct. Now, here's what I mean by that. Let's go back to my scenario. I've got my children and I've lined them up and I've delegated tasks to each one of my children. With the older one, I'm like, hey, can you go mow while I trim the hedges and spray the weeds? You just ride on the lawnmower and mow it out, all right? To my 16-year-old, I'm like, hey, I need you to clean the bathrooms and the sinks because them cleaners are strong, and so I just need you to take care of that so the little kids aren't getting hurt. To the younger one, the preteen, I'm like, hey, I need you to make sure the floors are swept, vacuumed, and mopped. To the next one, 8-year-old, to the 8-year-old, I tell the 8-year-old, make sure the trash is taken out, and I want you to help dust. And to the other one, I say, pick up the toys, pick up the dog's toys, and I want you to make your bed. Wow, I've just delegated. And now we're all getting it done, and my wife is washing the clothes. And so now we're all getting it done. Everybody's got something to do. But here's the thing. Let's say that my oldest has never ridden the riding lawnmower. Well, what I have to do is I have to take them out there and say, hey, I know you've never done this. I've always done it. I've never asked you to. So let me show you. Here's how you start it. Here's the clutch. Here's the gears. Here's the blade engagement. Here is the lever that's going to control how high or how low the deck is. This is where I mow on. And this is basically what you do. This is how you mow. It's like driving a car. Mow the yard, okay? Make sure you don't hit anything. You can't go in reverse when the mower's engaged. Just mow, okay? And so, but I have to instruct them. It's no different, folks, in the business world. You want to instruct the people on how you carry out the task. Now, here's something you want to make sure of, because the third one is inspect. What I mean by inspect, you want to always make sure they're doing it efficiently. Now, here's something very crucial. My child that is mowing, my child that is dusting, my child that is cleaning the bathroom, they're not going to do it just like I do. No other person in the world will usually do things exactly to the letter the way you do. You have to be willing to understand that when I'm inspecting their work, it's not, is it being accomplished in the exact manner that I would do it, but is it being done efficiently? Are they efficiently following through and carrying out the task? So what I would do is, while my child is mowing, I'm going to peek around the corners. I'm going to make sure they're not leaving gaps of grass. I'm going to make sure that they're not running over anything they shouldn't. Make sure they're getting off the mower to, and when they get off the mower, they're making sure it's safe. The blade isn't engaged and things like that. And they're getting off and picking up trash, or they're whatever. I would have instructed them on how to do all this. So I'm just inspecting to make sure that they're doing a job efficiently, that they're doing the task with efficiency. And by doing that, it's enabling me to entrust them, which is our last one. Now, you would say, Jody, you spell entrust E-N-T-R-U-S-T, and you do. But if you go back to the old way of spelling it, it's I-N-T-R-U-S-T. And since I used I's on everything else, I figured we might as well. Because when you think about the word entrust, it means to commit the task to them with confidence. You see, what happens is that I can now look, and I go behind my kids, me and my wife, and we're looking, and my wife says, wow, she did a great job cleaning the bathrooms and the sink. He did a great job mowing the yard, I say. She says, oh, and by the way, the 4-year-old made its bed. It had some wrinkles, whatever. It wasn't military standard, but it was good. And you know what? They picked up the dog's toys. And wasn't it great that we got all of this accomplished? This whole full day's worth of work, 12 to 14 hours of work, was accomplished and completed in 2 to 3 hours. Now, guess what? My list of priorities for the day, I went through it, and the things I could delegate, I delegated. The things I could eliminate, I eliminated. The things that I could do, I did myself. But here's the thing, is that when I looked at it, I relinquished it, I eliminated, I automated, and I delegated. Because what I did is, now we've got time. I ordered lunch. I got Uber Eats to bring my lunch. Guess what else? We needed to go to the grocery store. We weren't sure if we was going to get it in today. I called ahead. I ordered it online. My wife while the clothes were being washed, my wife was online, and she was ordering the groceries for the week at Walmart. And guess what happened? All we had to do was go pick them up. Saved us another hour. Now, out of the 16 to 18 hour day that we was looking at, it's been minimized and it's been utilized in the time we have because we strategized. You like my rhyming? We strategized, and we were able to take and invest our time wisely simply by elimination, automation, and delegation. But let me tell you something. Because here's the catch. We're not finished. What do you mean we're not finished? You told me there was 3 ways to relinquish tasks. And if you do those 3 things, you're going to be so happy with your life. You're going to find great success, I promise you. But here's what I want to share with you. The last one, in conclusion, would be evaluate. So after you look at your list, all right, after you look at your list and you've combed through all the tasks on your list and you've crossed off all the tasks that can be eliminated altogether, automated using technology, or delegated to responsible and trusted helpers, you should have one short list left. And that list is your essential few. The list that started like this, narrowed down by elimination, narrowed down by automation, narrowed down by delegation, and now you've got this left that you yourself have to take care of. And when you do, now you don't have to stress over multitasking. Now you're not worried about, okay, I'm going to mow the grass, and while I'm mowing the grass, I'm going to be calling in food, and I'm going to be ordering up groceries, and I'm going to be running off the mower between mowing and weed eating to check the laundry, and then I'm going to run back out, and I'm going to weed eat, and I'm going to run back in, and I'm going to, all this stuff. You don't have to do all that. Now you've got to worry about, you know what? Did you hear what my list consists of? In my household chores, and I didn't even get into what I eliminated. I did get into what I automated, okay? But there's some things I eliminated maybe off my list that didn't matter, wasn't important. But here's what I had to do. I had to spray weeds, and I had to trim the hedges, right? So if I would have carried out all the tasks on my list by myself, I would have spent a day or 2 days doing all of those things, which would have held me back from doing other things. What I was able to do in this scenario, by elimination, by automation, by delegation, is at the end of it, I evaluated, and I said the only 2 things left is spraying the weeds and trimming the hedges. I got this. And so I was able to do that and do it efficiently. And you know what happens now going forward? Here's the cool part. Going forward, my kid likes to mow. So now my kid's like, I'll mow. You have the older kids teaching the younger kids as they grow up a little bit more. Now he can teach the 16-year-old how to mow. The 16-year-old's teaching the other one how to clean bathrooms. The other one's teaching the other one. And then before you know it, you just keep the system going. And now I've got a lot more free time. And so I encourage you greatly. Think about these 3 things. Think about 3 ways to relinquish your task. You can do that through elimination, through automation, and through delegation. So I want you to begin asking yourself, and looking at your list. Now, if you haven't started planning and prioritizing, you need to do that. You need to do that, because how can you relinquish tasks if you don't even know what you have to do? You see, it's harder to do on the spur of the moment and spontaneously versus strategically. If I strategically have planned, I can go into tomorrow. Because here's the catch. A 20-year-old probably ain't wanting to hang around the house all day. A 16-year-old probably isn't either. On a Saturday, a 12-year-old isn't either. The 8-year-old most likely has something they want to do. And so in a normal routine of life, everybody has things they want to get accomplished in their own agendas. But if I strategically have planned, I tell them on Monday or Tuesday, look, guys, this Saturday, this is what we're going to do. We can start at 8 a.m. and we'll be done by 11 a.m. at the latest. All right. And so we're going to jump in here. We might be done by 9:30, but we're, chop out 2 hours, and we're going to give ourselves 33% more. So 2.5 hours roughly. All right. Chop out 2.5 hours so that we can work on the task, the chores, the goals, the job, the whatever you want to call it, so we can knock it out. And you do your part, I'll do my part, and we'll get done. And then you get to go to your friends, you get to go on your date, you get to go to the church function, you get to go do this, you get to go do that. I'm applying it to everyday life, but it works in every scenario you apply it to. So begin planning, begin prioritizing, stop multitasking, and start relinquishing your task. I hope this has been a help to you. I truly do, as this is 30 days of how to be successful with me, Jody Almond, and I hope it's just been a help to you and a blessing to you, and I hope that it'll continue to encourage you. Man, we're on day 24, and we don't have but 6 days left, but trust me, I've got some great things I want to share with you, and I hope that you'll stick with me. Hey, listen, here in the next few days, at the end of this, I'm going to share with you an amazing opportunity for people who really want to achieve real success in their life and go to the next level. Okay? And so stay with me, share this, share it on Facebook. If people don't have Facebook that you're acquainted with or affiliated with, then tell them to go to my YouTube page and go there. It's called The Solution. Just type in The Solution, Jody Almond, in the search bar. It'll pull it right up, and you'll be able to subscribe and stay in touch there with everything I'm doing. Hey, like this Facebook page, Jody Almond Going All In, and share this post with others and make it be impactful to their life. If this has helped you tonight, I hope you'll comment in the comments below and just respond back to me and let me know what a blessing or a help this has been to you, because that's my goal, is to impart and invest and influence and impact your life as much as possible. So until next time, I hope you have a great day, and God bless.